What's up, everybody? This is Daniel Babbitt. Welcome back to Gamestingr. If you guys are new here, please do hit that subscribe button down below somewhere in that region down there because we cover a ton of gaming news, gameplay videos, and all kinds of other gaming stuff. Now, today, we're going to be kind of going back on what happened yesterday at Sony State of Play. And I didn't actually get to watch it, but so we have today we have a full crew here. We got Jeff, we got James, and
Hello.
we also have Tardell here in the house. Now, all of these guys, they were watching the State of Play yesterday, and they did a live like vlog of it. So
it was great.
You know everything. It was great.
No,
I heard the sarcasm in Jeff's voice there. So they were watching it all yesterday, but I think that there was one game that we're gonna kind of focus on today. So I'm just gonna pass it over to Jeff, who's going to lay the groundwork for today.
this wasn't even in it. This came out like after the thing.
Oh! It was not in it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't even in it. They decided to focus on Final Fantasy VII photo mode for 7 minutes instead of going into this, and even this is just as bad. So, and I got my Invisalign in, so I might be a little slurry, but here we go. So we're gonna watch this. I watched it just a little bit ago. It's bad. It's obviously a cash grab, and it pisses me off because they could have been working on Final Fantasy Part 2, and instead they're working on this bullshit. So here we go. Check this out.
Well, I love that salt before we start. Final Fantasy Battle Royale, baby.
The moment.
Yeah. What is this Fortnite? Am I watching Fortnite?
You might be.
Like, what's up with that walling crap or whatever you call it?
What the hell was that?
Oh my god, that was a brutal headshot. But he didn't even die though, that was weird. Oh my god, that was kind of like Doom there. I'm getting all kinds of vibes, guys. Video. Alright, available on 20. Okay, I'm just gonna go real quick before all of this just kind of like evaporates from my brain. So,
Yeah.
Oh, you're just replaying it now, right?
Yeah, no, you're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm getting all kinds of vibes from this thing. Now, this doesn't really look like Final Fantasy, so you got hints of like some Fortnite shit. What do we call that walling thing when you kind of like put a wall in front of you? That you
building. It looked like just a shield though. Like I didn't necessarily.
Yeah, right
take
there.
It as like a build. I didn't necessarily take that as building.
I think it's just a shield.
Okay.
No, it's
Yeah,
just
it's a
like a
shield.
shield.
All right, it's a shit, but it looks like Fortnite. So, in my mind, they're copying Fortnite. But I'm getting like, it really feels like kind of like a sub game off of Final Fantasy. It feels like a cash grab. It reminds me of when Metal Gear released. Well, when they released their PSP games that I forget the names of now, and they were just. Well, actually, maybe that's really doing this a disservice because those games weren't that bad, but they were just a few levels off of the real Metal Gear. And also when Metal Gear released their latest, I think it was called Vengeance. I forget the name. It was just like 4 years ago, and it was just like a hack and slash. Like it had zombies and like it was just like, what the fuck is this game? It was just
It was like Revengeance or some shit.
yeah, that's right, Revengeance. And it was like, what the fuck? Is this Metal Gear or like what is this shit? Like why are they releasing this? It has nothing to do with the story of Metal Gear. And it was just like, I don't know, the gameplay kind of reminds me of that. So I don't know. It's a little it seems like a bit of a jumbled mess. Now I know that Jeff isn't a fan of it, and Jeff is the big Final Fantasy guy. So I'll pass it over to Jeff so he can really tell us how he really feels. Tell us how you really feel, Jeff, about it.
He's not the big Final Fantasy guy. He's the big Final Fantasy 7 guy.
Oh,
Go ahead.
right on. Yes, true. That's true. So
I acknowledge the other ones.
I know Final Fantasy 7 ain't the best. Go ahead.
I was.
And
just
this is even worse.
Yes.
Before I forget, we had a Final Fantasy remake this past year, and we spoke about it, and Jeff played it, and so they're, to Jeff's point, they're trying to milk it because this isn't that it's not just Final Fantasy, it's Final Fantasy VII that they're doing. So, all right, go Jeff. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, this feels like a couple months ago, or maybe it was last year when Blizzard came out with the Diablo mobile, and it was this big reveal, and everybody's been waiting for a new Diablo game or a Diablo 2 remaster that they're doing now. And then they came out with this mobile shit, and everybody lost their minds. This is what this feels like. They're working on Final Fantasy VII Remake. They should be working on Part 2. We got just a crap show yesterday with photo mode and filters and better graphic. This is what they're putting their fucking time and resources into? This isn't what Final Fantasy VII players want. They want Part 2. They don't want a Yuffie episode. I don't care. It makes no sense. What are they doing? Who is this for? And if you look through the comments, nobody wants this. I don't understand who they're trying to please. Is this...
That's the thing, though. It's like the comments might say, hey, we don't want this, but Square Enix is going to make an ass load of cash off this game.
Yeah.
Anything that Square Enix puts out, they're going to make some degree of money off of that bitch. So it's like, personally, to me, it looks like, visually, it looks like I would play that shit, like just by looking at it. But I can see like there are like some diehards who we don't want this, but diehards make a small like core group of any kind of like larger segment and stuff. And if they're not gonna be like, well, we want to play the RPG shit, it's like, okay, we're still working on the RPG shit, and we floated you some RPG shit. If y'all don't want it, that's still the RPG shit you're gonna get. But
for
we need to make some
8 years?
money off of this shit. Huh?
They've been doing that shit for 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want this. But they obviously need all the time they can get because it took them for fucking ever to do that shit. And then they only put out one part, and then they're like, guys, chill. All right, we got this this not even MOBA, it's a battle royale thing.
Yeah.
Like for me, looking at it, the game is kind of confusing because like the traditional, because I saw other players in the game, but it seemed like they were battling a lot of random monsters and stuff. And actually, that part of the game looked funner than the actual PvP part. Like I think they could have did like a group based PvE thing. Like if it was multiplayer, like if me, James, Jeff, and Daniel got together and we were on a team and we were battling their environment, like battling monsters, and each one of us played our own particular character. I think that would have been more interesting in a battle royale game. And
Final Fantasy Online.
Yeah.
But on mobile.
Yeah. That would have been
for free because Square Enix wants your money. That's the thing.
but the thing about Square Enix is that in the past I've brought games off the iOS App Store from Square Enix. They have some pretty sleazy monetization methods. They got like their pricing strategy. Like I think they was charging.
Oh my god.
They was charging like $20-$25 for Final Fantasy like 4 or 5. Like it's just not only is this a game that like, and then like their random spin-offs, and I don't know, like this isn't a game that people ask for, that people wanted. If they want to do something, because I'm pretty sure this probably ain't the team that was working on Final Fantasy VII, but on the remake, but I don't know why. I don't know what would make them think that this is like in a genre that's over flooded now, the battle royale genre. Like I don't understand.
And why why so specific? Why does it have to be Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah.
Why can't
it's their biggest franchise of all time?
But I mean, you could just call this Final Fantasy.
Put them on the map.
You could just call this Final Fantasy First Soldier. Why does it have to be Final Fantasy VII?
A mobile
you know what?
game.
They should have did a Blitzball game for real.
I would pay for it. Charge me $20. I would pay for it. Pay it. All that. Like, no, we don't like. And I'm gonna wait for it to come out to make my final judgment. Just off of first appearances, there's things good and bad about it, but
Okay,
huh?
I got a few questions for you guys because I'm not like the biggest Final Fantasy guy. You guys are into Final Fantasy. Okay, so I got a few questions for you guys. Number one, what do you make of the combat system that we saw in this little trailer? Number two, if they were releasing a full-fledged battle royale game, why does this look like it's only going to be on mobile and not on other consoles? Like, isn't the goal of a battle royale to get the most amount of players possible in the game? It seems a little weird to me, I guess, but I don't know. What do you guys think about those two things? Combat
Well, everybody
system?
has a smartphone. For one thing, everybody got a smartphone. Not everyone has a smartphone that will probably run this, but everybody has the smartphone, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody. More people have consoles. Like, when you're talking gamers and what they game on, it's like consoles and mobile for real. Like, if you got your phone, you could play. You know, even if you want to play old console games, you can play it on your mobile. I know Gamestingr we don't condone emulators, I don't think, but yeah, you could do that on mobile, man. And
As long as it's legal, can
I have
emulators be legal?
I have a Game Boy one.
no, it's not.
Gotta get
No.
that Pokemon
Like-
Yellow.
We're just gonna hypothetically say that we own every single console we got an emulator for, and
Yeah.
we own game.
There we go.
And it's
Exactly.
just a backup.
I still have
It's
my
just a
Game Boy.
backup. Just playing a backup. Don't feel like
I mean, I have a Game Boy, so it's
Yeah, I just didn't have batteries.
Yeah.
I had a charger.
Yeah, but mobile isn't widely available, so it's like that's and going like just briefly since I'm on mobile, Square Enix on mobile, man. Like Tyrell said, they are extremely greasy with like how they price games and shit, man. Like, I'd be surprised if this is free.
Is it also like the monetization scheme inside the game stuff? Like they really try to extract that cash from you? Really,
Some of the
really?
games.
Some of the
Some
games.
of
like the worst thing, like, cause I'm starting to play a lot of game, you know what I'm saying, random games on mobile and stuff. And the worst thing that you can see to me is that there's actually games out there that cost money and have in-app purchases. Like, you know what I'm saying? For me, it's like pick a battle. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, this game costs $5, but there are in-app purchases. It's like, well, if I'm paying for it, I'm paying for not to have in-app purchase. But going back to your question,
Crazy.
yeah.
It's like these companies are so greedy.
Yeah. Going back to your question about Final Fantasy though, the game. The second question, why is it only on mobile? I think that if they were to put it out on consoles, there would be the Sony line of consoles and PC exclusive. And I think that this is a way that they could satisfy their Xbox fans and their Nintendo fans. Give them a game since they can't play Final Fantasy VII Remake with it. And so I think that that's probably a way that they're trying to get around that. You know what I'm saying? Get them.
Oh, interesting. Well, that's an interesting take.
And I
just think of that.
I want to note too, it's not so much I think the gameplay looks fine. I think the graphics are fine. It's not that I'm like ragging on the actual concept. I am ragging on the concept, but not the game. The game's fine. It's just the why and
priority.
the who, like, and the title. And this is weird because there was a thing about them trademarking First Soldier and another mobile game that they're doing, and people thought that it was going to be for part 2. And instead, it's for 2 fucking mobile games. And one is a battle royale called Final Fantasy VII. And it's 30 years before 7, so that's not 7.
Yeah.
What in the hell?
Like,
but you know what? It's within 7 storyline, I guess. It's supposed to be like, since it's 30 years before, it's like a prequel to it. It's just like when they did Dirge of Cerberus. They did Final Fantasy Dirge of Cerberus, and that was like before.
But that focused on a character, though. That was about Vincent.
Yeah, this is about Soldier.
I don't care. It's not a story, though. This is just this is just a
It doesn't look like story is going to play a big part in
Yeah,
this
because story has
game.
never really been big in battle royals anyway. You get dropped
No.
from an airplane onto
Yeah,
an island, and
basically.
somehow a fucking wall of energy moves in to try to kill you in every battle royale game, and no one really tells you why this wall of energy or gas is trying to kill your ass.
That's what I
You just
mean,
have to
though.
advance to the middle of town.
That's what I mean,
It's
though.
like
If they were
it's like the
gonna,
mystery of the universe.
if they were gonna
We
tell a
we don't know
story,
why it is. It just is.
if they were gonna tell a story, and they wanted to tell a story about First Soldier, why give us a? If you're trying to tell a story, don't choose a battle royale.
Yeah.
None of this makes sense to me. I'm just salty, but this is dumb.
I don't think they even want to tell the story. They just like, hey, this is what it is. This is just a nice smear of plot right here. This is why this game exists. You're playing as a soldier agent.
So the first
There's
soldier,
no any kind of fucking plot.
so the first soldier went into a Mortal Kombat style tournament to the death, and then whoever came out was the victor, and then they were the first soldier to ever exist. And then as 30 years later, Cloud's like, "That's a damn good idea. I'm gonna go join that shit."
Like I have questions. I have questions about that gameplay because there's parts that, and I know they probably did it for the video's sake. The parts when they were killing other players, like that snipe when he had the sniper and he sniped the dude. The guy was standing right in the open, not moving. Like, what the hell are you doing, bro? Like, that's not in trailers and sizzle reels for games. It's
Right there.
a thing.
There's a
it's
better-
a thing where they don't
right here.
have realistic gameplay, huh?
Right there. Yeah. He's just that's it. And I
They
don't
don't
think he
have
dies.
realistic gameplay. Like if you ever watch the E3 conferences and see them on stage, they're like, "Oh, take cover over there, dude." Like, bro, nobody talks like that. But I had I had questions about the gameplay, and I guess they're gonna probably release more about it as like the closer it comes to release. But there's parts that didn't look fun, like the battle royale parts of it didn't look fun because there's other battle royales out there that's way more polished than this, like the Call of Duty battle royale, Warzone, the mobile battle royale, Fortnite, Apex. Like all these battle royales are way better, and it's basically the same thing with different skins. But what did look interesting to me was the PvE part, where they were, you know what I'm saying, going around shooting, like attacking big mechs and stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying, I want to see more, you know what I'm saying. I tried, but it's just a miss. Like, I don't know.
So I'll just tell you guys what I think, and you guys will tell me if you think I'm wrong. So I think James is right. I think James, you said it. They're using Final Fantasy VII for this battle royale because it's their biggest franchise. It's likely the most recognizable Final Fantasy game or world ever, and so it's like people see it, they're like, "Holy shit! Final Fantasy VII goes battle royale? Let me check that shit out." And especially if you, depending on the price, because I don't play a lot of mobile games. Maybe you guys can tell me how it is. But if you're scrolling through mobile, you see a game that you like, oh my god, Final Fantasy VII, right? That like elicits some kind of reaction, and then you want to make that impulsive buy. If it's $10 or $5 or whatever, you're like, fuck that, it's Final Fantasy VII. I'm gonna buy that. Why not? That's exciting. So maybe they're banking on some of that. I don't know. I think that's what they're doing. Because if they just called it Final Fantasy in general, Final Fantasy Battle Royale, it wouldn't have that very specific branding to draw people in. It could be anything. So I think that's one. The other thing is I agree with Tardell. The gameplay doesn't look all that polished. It looks basically like a Fortnite, very, 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 very light in terms of gameplay. It's not particularly smooth. It doesn't look. It just doesn't. It doesn't look unique. The gameplay just doesn't really, like, for me personally, when I watch this and I look at the gameplay, it might look okay, but that's it. It's just okay. It's not like, oh my god, I need to go play this for the gameplay. I think it's going to rely more on the story and the characters. Like I said, the Final Fantasy VII branding more than the actual gameplay. Because, you know, like Tardell said, there's so many other games. Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone. There's so many games that you can play Battle Royale that are really good, right? And so
Even the mobile version of Call of Duty, Warzone. Like,
Yeah, and it's competitive as hell, right? We spoke about that murder yesterday that happened for that. So not that I want to go back to that, but yeah, even the mobile version is pretty polished. So this doesn't look like it's going to hold a candle to that.
I will give this style points over other MOBAs though, man, because like other MOBAs after a while, I mean not MOBAs, I'm sorry, other battle royale games, because some of them lean very heavily towards like military shooter,
That's
and
right.
we've been sitting with military shooters shit since what, the late '90s, and
Yep.
some of them are like sci-fi shooters, and that's been like since the early 2000s,
That's
and
right.
this is kind of like in the middle because Soldier is supposed to be like a military force, but this is like it's familiar but
Fantasy.
different at the same time.
Fantasy
Yes.
and magic, and
It's something different from what you usually get in a battle royale game, but it's still like the same kind of
on your 7 kills,
gameplay, only not as clean.
on your 7 kill streak, instead of a chopper, you get an Ifrit. Can't
Yeah.
talk.
Probably so.
Speaking of the
I
devil.
think I just think that there were like a lot of different ways. Like Jeff said, not Jeff, like Daniel was saying, like the name recognition of Final Fantasy VII, Battle Royale. I don't think Battle Royale is gonna draw because I think fan base wise, people who like Final Fantasy VII or the Final Fantasy series in general like RPGs. That's the reason why they liked it. So I
That's
don't
right.
think that I don't necessarily think that RPG fans translate into Battle Royale fans, and I think that it would have been better served, especially on mobile. I think that they could have did. I think the that side story, Yuffie, that story, they could have made it mobile exclusive and like mobile exclusive. And,
That's not
like
a bad idea.
if you have your version on like PlayStation or PC, just put in some type of code that you get from the game in game, and you can download it free on your mobile device, and they can like have
That's
like
a
a
great
story
idea.
for Cat Thief, like, and then like just have
That
it
makes
like
more
that to
sense.
to get people in, or they could have had like I think a genre that's closer to RPG than Battle Royale is like a tactic strategy type game where you get your squad of soldier and you go, you know what I'm saying, go against them. Even if it was PvP, like they could make a gotcha game. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that that's closer to the RPG elements that the fan, because you know what I'm saying, fans are, like when you see Final Fantasy 7, you're thinking I'm gonna get a story driven RPG, and it's like Battle Royale. That's just like you have sports fans that like basketball games, and it's like, well, this mobile version, we're about to make a basketball battle royale we can play as well. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I'm Shaq for sure.
yeah, I'm Shaq. Like, there's no beating me. Like, that's a big jump in genre. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, you know what I'm saying, the battle royale genre is closely related to, like, if you're interested in FPS or person shooters, like a battle royale, I'd be like, okay, cool, you know what I'm saying, that's a close translation. But from battle royale to RPG, like, what the hell are you thinking about? Like, why
Yeah.
would you think that your fan base would like this? Like, that's what I'm wondering.
If you think
And it's an
about
obvious
it,
cash grab.
RPG to battle royale, logically, at least somewhat logically, makes sense in the sense that in RPGs usually have a lot of magic powers, a lot of cool things like that, and these are things that can kind of come into play in a battle royale, like different skills, different abilities, and so on and so forth. Like, for example, Valorant is a shooter that has those things, but Valorant could very easily be a battle royale type game, even though it's not really. Because of all the skills, and that kind of makes it cool and interesting. Like, battle royales are all about kind of like these cheap thrills, in my opinion, or at least a big part of it is about these kind of cheap thrills and nonstop action, of course. And so RPGs kind of have those elements a little bit, but of course, when you're talking about gameplay, they are just diametrically opposed. They're not remotely close to the same sphere. But like I said, our battle royales are all about kind of the superficial, these superficial abilities, these superficial characters. Like, you take cool characters, you put them in like Fortnite right now has like people from Street Fighter, and everything, and people go crazy over that. Oh my God, Ryu or whoever is in Fortnite, but it's so superficial, right? It's like it just doesn't. And when you think about it, like this shouldn't work, but some people like it just because it looks cool at first glance. So look, I don't know.
I look at battle royales as kind of like the American wrestling of video games, and that
Yeah, like
would
Royal
have
Rumble.
its
It's a Royal
particular
Rumble.
style, but it would take everything from every other style in the world
Yeah, that's
and put
right.
it into one brand. That's American wrestling. That's
Yeah,
battle royales. It's like fighting games over here. Mortal Kombat. Yeah, you can have Sub-Zero in Fortnite, even though that's an M-rated game, and this is like what E right here, and it's like, yeah, we could pull all this shit in.
it's crazy. You can do it all. It's a hodgepodge. Like it's like a crackpot.
Makes
Or
me
whatever.
sick.
The crockpot, not crackpot. The crockpot. Sorry.
What about crackpot?
you just dump everything in there. You let it simmer for a few days, and you see what the hell comes out.
And you take a poop in it. Gotta take a poop in it, let it ferment a little bit.
See what the hell comes out, man. Like, I don't know what I'm putting in this fucking pot, man. I just hope it's edible.
Dump everything in there. You wait a few days. This kind of looks like it a little bit. I gotta be honest.
And something else about this that kind of like, I don't think that this is gonna bring in any new fans at all, because the thing about a franchise or a series is that it's hinging on the popular characters, and whoever is the main if this isn't Final Fantasy VII like present day, whoever's the main character has zero name, like close to zero name recognition. And it's like when you think about Final Fantasy VII, like a lapsed fan, for instance, or someone who played Final Fantasy VII but hasn't played any of the other ones, it's like, oh, it's a remake. Like, what if they made Final Fantasy VII remake without, you know what I'm saying? Like, would people still want to buy it? Like, what if they rename Cloud as Soldier or something? Like, Cloud is he's very identifiable with Final Fantasy VII. Like, when you like,
he might be a downloadable character at some. Just watch. They're gonna do.
no, you're gonna pay, bro. Anything under $15 for him is like blasphemy for Square Enix. Like, you're fit to pay that $15 for this skin, this Cloud skin, or you know what I'm saying, something like, oh, you get to have a cloud hair, or you get the Buster Sword, but you can't use it. But you know what I'm saying, people gonna walk around like, oh, cool, he got a Buster. Like, even and then like the audience for battle royales are usually like younger kids or newer people to gaming, and younger kids don't give a fuck about Final Fantasy VII. Like, they don't even give a fuck about Final Fantasy 15. Like, what, you know what I'm saying? The most,
but maybe this is kind of the thing. Maybe this is a way. So Square Enix could be trying to do two things. Number one is to get the older audience into battle royale, perhaps, or just into their extended world of Final Fantasy games, and pursue other monetization options with the older crowd. Number two could be a way to try to introduce the younger fans to Final Fantasy world by giving them something that they know and love very much, which is battle royale games. And so eventually they get acquainted with the world. They start knowing more about it, and then next time that Square Enix releases a Final Fantasy games, the idea, I guess, in their heads is like we'll get some of that younger audience on board. You know what I mean?
Like, the thing about that is that for you to introduce somebody to a world, they're using the Final Fantasy VII. Like, as far as younger fans go, like, I don't think that Final Fantasy VII or Battle Royale would bring them into the world. And also, you know what I'm saying, for the older fans, I think that, you know, a lot of times look at Battle Royale as, oh, that's what the kids play, that's what the younger people play. And you know what I'm saying, so I don't see who this is like bringing in. Like, I don't think that the older fans or fans of the Final Fantasy series would like this. And I think that the younger kids, this being their introduction to Final Fantasy, like, I don't think.
So you think it's gonna bomb?
I think it's gonna make money, but I don't think it's gonna be received well by fans and non-fans alike. Like, I don't think that they're gonna.
I think that Square Enix is taking a risk with this game. Yeah. I think that what I said before, trying to draw older fans into it and younger fans, I think that's when they're sitting around and discussing marketing and whatnot for the game, I have to think that those are things that they actively want to seek. I have to think that, but I do think that they're taking a risk. I'm sure there's some naysayers when they're sitting around that they're a little bored, and some people are saying, "But this, I don't think this is gonna work, guys. Like this, like our fans, they love RPGs. The young guys, well, they like Fortnite and they like other games. I don't know if our game is really quite that polished and stuff. And eventually they come to an agreement as a board and they say, "Oh, we'll just kind of go ahead and make the investment and see what happens." But I think they're taking a bit of a risk.
I think we're all just kind of beating around the bush. Let's just say it. This is bullshit.
Like,
Nobody wants this.
But something else you gotta take into account is that Square Enix, you know what I'm saying, like Daniel was saying, you know what I'm saying, these are successful businessmen. They've had years and years of success throughout, you know what I'm saying, throughout how long they've been open. And you know what I'm saying, you'll think like, you know what I'm saying, us just being fans, you know what I'm saying, fans and just regular gamers and stuff.
I'm right. They're wrong.
You know what I'm saying? Say like, oh, this is stupid that they're doing. It's like that's kind of crazy. But something else you have to take into account is that American and Japanese companies work very different. Like Japanese companies, and you can see
for sure, yeah.
The you know what I'm saying, the PlayStation, going back to PlayStation, the transition from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3, Japanese companies can be very stubborn about their ways, and they could be set in, you know what I'm saying, their ways and stuff. And they, you know what I'm saying, they're not looking at the complete landscape. And also their core fan base is the Asian Japanese market, where mobile games and smartphones are probably more prevalent, or you know what I'm saying, on top of the totem pole than in the United States. And that, you know what I'm saying, Final Fantasy, I think that just the culture and stuff in Japan, I think that it might blow up. But you know what I'm saying, I think
they might be relying on a more Japanese user base.
But you know, like as a whole, in gaming, you know what I'm saying, it's and like, and you know what I'm saying, you can relate it to music, too. But your core fan base keeps you afloat, but you have to go outside your core fan base to really reach the next level and blow up. Like
that is like the one gospel truth about pretty much every business. It's
like if you look at
even politics, just look at politics. It's the same thing. It's like, Donald Trump has his crazy supporters, but he can't win without, it's like, it's the same thing for every business, and even for for this channel or for any other YouTube channel or for sites or anything, it's the same thing. You always got to make your fan base happy and then try to expand, and it's always like two different. It can be two different forces pulling in opposite directions. Like here, which you have like an RPG, which is a more traditional, old school, very Japanese like genre, and you have Battle Royale, which is a very much newer, much younger genre, and they're just, they're kind of pulling in different directions. So you kind of have to manage that.
Something I didn't think about was like, is Battle Royale popular in Japan? Like,
I don't know. I was trying to think about this before, and I'm like, I don't know. I have no clue if it is or not.
If it's not popular in Japan, then it might not hit in Japan either, because.
But it's popular in like Korea and China though.
Yeah. Like if you look at Final Fantasy, for instance, like Final Fantasy series.
This is the thing, James. We often think about the Japanese market in Asia, but I think the Chinese market is really the emerging market. So if you're gonna give the Chinese people what they want, you don't even have to care about North America, because China it's not just like a developing country, it's a developing game user base. And it's only like in the last 5-10 years or so that like a lot of Chinese people have money to buy. Well, everyone has money to buy phones nowadays, even though an iPhone can be $2,000. People all over the world have them. I don't know how, but they do. So this is a mobile game. But I'm just saying, in general, more and more people are playing video games in China. There's more game studios coming from China, and so on and so forth. So if you can really hit it out, if Battle Royale is really popular in China, and they like Final Fantasy, and you kind of put the two together, and they really like it, that it could really blow up your game as well. I have to think that these are things that they're really thinking about Square Enix behind the scenes as well.
Yep. And the other thing is that, and just like how we was talking about, you had to like cater to different bases. You had to see like RPGs amongst young folks because you have to get young people. If you get like young people determine what's hot and what's gonna move, like, you know what I'm saying?
You do.
If
You have no choice. You have no choice
Yeah.
but to get young people.
And if they like Battle Royale is
Old
like
people.
hot. That's it. Not for long, Jeff. But that's the thing. It's like you had to get youth, and then you got China. Like, and like you said, like maybe they wouldn't have to even consider North America. But like the thing with North American fans is like we would stick with a game a little longer and stuff, man. And like in some Asian markets, it's more like what's hot, what's trendy right now. Okay, that was fun for like a month or two. Now, what's the next hot thing you got for me, man? You know what I'm saying? In America, we'll sit and play this shit for a while. In Canada, I'm sure they'll sit and play the game for a while and stuff and develop a fan base for this game. Like, hey, do you remember Final Fantasy, blah, blah, blah? In China, they'd be like, there was a Final Fantasy game? When? You know what I'm saying?
America has released Skyrim and GTA 5 on 3 generations of consoles.
Yeah.
We'll play the same shit till we die.
Yeah, we'll play and we would pay for it each and every time.
Every fucking
We've been playing for
time.
Mario on every Nintendo console that's came out since before Tardell and Jeff were born. And that's just what they'll do, man. They will release Super Mario Brothers on every fucking console, man.
I like how you excluded us, James.
Y'all old as fuck.
The original Nintendo came out in 1985 in North America.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I was one. I was one when it came out.
Yeah, I mean,
That's how long Mario has been around. Shit.
Ouch.
Shit just got real for you guys.
Every time the console comes out, they'll be like, "We got
shit
Super
got
Mario." we got
real,
Super
yeah,
Mario
big
World.
time. Yeah, but
So it's
So-
the same thing.
yeah, but so I think there might be a difference though. Like, I feel like Japan is perhaps even more traditional than North America. Like, they're the ones making Super Mario, you know, and like they're making the same game all the time. They're remaking it, making it, remaking it, remaking the remake, and whatnot. And people still buy that crap all the time.
See, in America, we want something unique and new, right? But in
Yeah.
Japan, they're like, we can like take this, flip it so many different ways that make your head spin, trick it out, and make money off of it. We don't have to work that hard to create something new for real. That's smart as fuck.
Yeah.
That
It
is smart.
is,
I don't like in America we love innovation. In North America we love innovation. But if you could take like one thing, it's just like how people on certain websites would take I don't want to name any other possibly competing blog sites, but they would take an article and then like spin some of the words around and then change the
Are you talking about
date that it would post
Game
it.
Predator?
Whoa.
Oh yeah. You know, they'll take an article that they probably did in September, spin a few of the words around, change the date, like this is like news and shit, and you'll think, oh, did this happen? No, this happened like in September. It's almost March. You know for a fact that this didn't happen recently, and they'll get views for it.
We should
I
do
know.
that.
As much as I hate that, that's scummy and stuff.
It is.
It's smart. You know, it's smart. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like
You
work
gotta-
smarter, not harder.
Oh God, yeah. And on
Well-
top of that, they probably use an automated system to do it too. They don't even put in the work to actually mix the words and whatever.
Yeah.
Bastards.
Yeah, this is like if someone took this podcast and just switched everyone's pictures around and then like switch everybody's voices and be like the Game Predator podcast. There you go.
So you're making me cough. I have a cough. I was keeping it under control until now.
Yeah. Like Tardell sounds like Jeff. You know, Daniel sounds like me. I have a Canadian accent. The Final Fantasy screen is turned upside down, so you know it's a game, but you have to turn your whole phone to see it. You could do that shit, man.
Yeah.
And they would give you for that shit.
Yeah.
All right. So this is running long. So final thoughts.
Oh,
Let's
sorry.
do final thoughts real quick. Okay, so let's start. Daniel, final thoughts on this.
I'm not playing it.
Okay.
Final thought. That's it.
Darnell?
I want to see more about it. I'm gonna play it, but I want to see more about it. It looks like confusing and weird. Like I don't. It don't look like, some games just immediately grab your attention and make you wonder, make you curious about it. But this ain't it.
Not this. Not this. No.
James?
I'm big on mobile. I'm a Final Fantasy mark. I'm gonna play it. I mean, like, it could say it has ads and shit. I'm still gonna play a Final Fantasy game, and I play mobile. Like, I like.
If it had ass, I would definitely.
I have a toxic, abusive relationship with mobile games. Like, I would play them no matter how many ads are in them. So.
Did you say
said ads? I thought you said ass. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, shit. If there's a lot of ads in it,
Yeah,
I mean, if
that's
characters
what I
got
thought you said.
wagons.
I was like, oh, you're not gonna play if it has ass? Okay, well, I would, but fine.
Oh no! If it got ads,
Gotta get
I'll
that.
play the game. It's
Gotta
the
get
kind of
that.
ads I want to see.
Gotta get that booty sculptor from Returnal. Yeah, I'll probably pass on this. I just think it looks too confusing. They have PvE, they have PvP. It looks like they're combining too many elements, and then taking an RPG, turning it into a battle royale. I think that's too much of a stretch. But
yeah,
I think it looks fine. I think
it looks fine.
They did good, but it's just not my. It's too far of a stretch for me.
I'll just say this out there. I think this game will do okay, depending on their pricing strategy. I think that it might not be like a mass. It's not going to overtake Fortnite or anything. Don't get me wrong. That's not going to happen here. But I think the game will do okay financially.
We're going to have to like poison Fortnite someday. We're just going to have to slip something into it, let it die.
Yeah,
I think that
I'm just saying
like,
nothing.
I'm hoping that Tom Brady loses in the Super Bowl. I've just given up on it, and I just accept that it's going to happen. It's just going to keep rolling. So
I'm just saying
I've given up on Fortnite dying.
Nothing's been right in the world since Fortnite. So
I think Fortnite is not as popular as it once was, but I think it's still going strong.
It's insane.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. Like,
the funny thing is that you would think people would like start, like you would think Fortnite is kind of like a starter game for some people, then they move on to other shit. No, man, it's like,
no. What the hell?
This is my fucking game. I'm sticking with Fortnite. I don't give a shit. It's like Fortnite came out when you was 25. You're like, almost 39. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna play Fortnite until the wheels fall off this bitch, man. And then I'm gonna play it some more when someone come up with like private servers and they close the Fortnite servers.
Don't even say that.
Start modding it themselves. Like, oh, it's done, son. Like,
they're gonna keep playing this game non-fucking stop, man.
If I'm still playing Unreal Tournament 1999 periodically, like 21 years later, people will be playing Fortnite probably in like 2045 or some shit like that.
I was just playing Mario Party 2 on the 64, so.
There you go. So I think that's gonna do it, guys. We went longer than expected. I think that's gonna do it. So guys, we'll just cut the video right here. If anybody's still watching, give the video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below.
Yep.
And I think we're gonna be back tomorrow with more gaming stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Thanks for coming.
All right.